Welcome to Beast the Odds. I am BEASTDOME, and tonight, first, we're gonna go over what happened with Drew Brees, a detailed look at the injury with Dr. Jesse Morse. Then I have my Beast or Bust Waiver Wire Pick of the Week. All that right after this.
Fantasy football is a lot like golf. First you have the drive, which in this case we can call the draft. Then you have the shots to get to the green in regulation, aka playoffs. This includes waiver wire, trades, start, sit. Once you do everything right, you knock in the easy putt and win your championship. If you decide not to sign up for any of the Beast season packages, you could find yourself out of the playoffs despite your Beast roster.
Welcome back to Beast the Odds. We are joined by Dr. Jesse Morse. We're going to go over the injuries that happened week 2 and the fantasy implications you can see on BEASTDOME.com, but we'll be talking about it generally. So, Jesse, first of all, thank you for being back with us once again.
My pleasure.
The first person we're going to ask about is a legend for the BEASTDOME Nation. I ranked him as my number 1 QB this year, so everyone draft him around round 7, round 8, sometimes round 6. Drew Brees, tell us what we need to know.
So Drew Brees suffered a really unfortunate and potentially significant injury. If you look at your thumb, the inside of the thumb is something called the ulnar collateral ligament. We have several of these in our body. The most common one is the elbow, but the one in the thumb is very important to grip and to throwing. This is traditionally torn in baseball when a player slides and catches his hand on the bag and it tears. Brees accidentally hit his thumb on, I think it was Donald, and it tore it. If you look at the exam on the sidelines, you can actually see his thumb, instead of moving like mine, which is normal, his actually would split, and this part would go farther than it should. And that means there's a full thickness tear here. He saw Dr. Shin yesterday, who's a renowned hand specialist, hand surgeon at Curl and Job, which is in LA. He's going to a second physician opinion, I believe in Houston, probably tomorrow. But this is going to require surgery. In a baseball player, this is a 4 to 6 week injury, but in a football player, it's not very common, and the grip is a lot wider for a football, especially since it's throwing hand. It could be anywhere from 6 weeks up to 10, and I would not be surprised if it was closer to 10, depending on bye week. And if he just can't feel comfortable with that hand, he'll keep sailing the ball. So this is an unfortunate injury for Brees.
Well, luckily for Brees, the bye week is by week 9, so that puts it right around the 6-7 week window, and hopefully he can return right after the bye, because the reason why I love Brees so much was his schedule from week 10 to week 15. It's just pure dome games, so if he can make it back for that. But now here's the question: is Brees going to be the same Brees when he returns?
Yeah, I'm not worried about Brees' injury after he gets it surgically repaired. But until he does, he won't be the same. He needs to have this repaired.
Okay, so once he's repaired, he'll be back to vintage Drew Brees like nothing happened.
Correct, yeah. This is one of those where you set it and forget it. Like, you don't really worry about it. Mike Trout had this injury a year or 2 ago, and it's like it never happened.
Okay, well, I know the BEASTDOME Nation's going to be very happy to hear that. He will make a full recovery. Let's talk about the 2 Eagles receivers. Both Alshon and D-Jax went down. What's going on with them?
Man, I mean, there was like a battle zone last night. It was a great game, but they were losing players left and right. Alshon's dealing with a calf injury, and what you should know about calf injuries is that they hurt, man. Even a grade 1 mild one, these things hurt. Like, the gastrocnemius, which is the big thick muscle on the back of your leg, the back of your calf, is the muscle we use for propulsion. So you need it to run hard. You really can't run without it. So you need these re-injure really easily. So if you return too soon, you're going to suffer either a setback or a worsening of that injury. So these honestly are probably going to take a good 2 to 3 weeks, best case scenario. I mean, Derrick Henry had one. We saw Andrew Luck had one. These can be annoying. You respect him and give him time, because it will linger all season if he doesn't. And I really don't expect him to play for a couple weeks. And if he does, he's going to be at high risk for re-injury, and every week he does play.
Okay.
As far as Deshaun Jackson, the speedster, he's also dealing with a groin injury like Jacobs. Given the importance of the groin, which is surprisingly important and very painful, this basically is responsible for any movement where you pick up your hip and you rotate it. That's basically a lot of groin. So that's basically what these guys do, trying to get off of coverage, trying to make cuts. So he may play this week, but I don't expect him to be very effective. He's also at risk for re-injury, but not quite as crazy. He'll be closer to 100% in 2 to 3 weeks, but he'll be reasonable in the next 2 weeks. I don't really expect him to be effective in week 1, especially since he's predominantly a speed guy, and he's going to need this to build up the speed.
I love the player comparisons, and I also love the action you showing us how it's affecting the players. Based off of what we're talking about right here, it sounds like Nelson Aguilar is a guy you want to add on your fantasy teams for the next couple weeks. Get that production while these guys deal with injuries that they can't force them back on the field too soon.
Yeah, and Goddard's down with a calf still. He re-injured it. He was dealing with it in the preseason, and then he re-injured it last night. So, I mean, they are pretty decimated. You basically have Ertz. You have a banged-up Djax if he plays. You have Aguilar, and then you have like Mac Hollins, and then like J-Jaw, RCO Whiteside, who went bananas in the preseason but didn't really do anything last night. I think Aguilar, besides dropping the go-ahead touchdown, I think he got like 10 or 12 targets or something. So that's probably going to be his guy, and that may be your sneaky play in week 3 if you can get him.
Well, we started with the Saint with Drew Brees. We ended with the Saint and Traquan Smith. And Dr. Jesse Morse, you're a saint for being here on Beast the Odds. Thank you for being with us tonight.
My pleasure. You guys have a good week. We'll see you at the end of the week.
We'll see you Friday. Beast! After 2 touchdowns and 100+ yards, DeMarcus Robinson is the flavor of the week. But what type of flavor are we really getting here? The Chiefs are stacked with talent. Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, these guys are the go-to options for Patrick Mahomes. There's no getting around it. Then when you got the rookie Hardman, DeMarcus Robinson is more or less in a committee full of wide receivers. Patrick Mahomes never locks and loads onto one guy. Yes, Robinson will have a few good games in this 4 to 6 week stretch that Tyreek Hill is out. But once Tyreek Hill comes back, Hardman, Robinson, Watkins, Kelce, there's too many Chiefs for everything to go around. Bust.
Sure, you can duel with kings, but are you ready to be the GOAT? Fantasy sports just went crypto. Welcome to GOAT, the global fantasy sports platform powered by Digital Fantasy Sports, DFS Token. GOAT allows users to connect and compete globally with their DFS while playing fantasy sports. From thrilling pick'em games to the classic salary cap style gameplay to season-long fantasy and even live drafts, Digital Fantasy Sports GOAT has you covered. Visit GOATFantasy.com.
That is all for tonight on BC Odds. If you want my weekly rankings, my Monkey Night Fight picks, and my draft strategy, sign up for the promos below in the description. Send me a DM with your username or an email at beast@beastdome.com. Thank you to Dr. Jesse Morse. Play GOATFantasy.com. I'll see you soon. Beast!